Let's take a look at division of algebraic fractions. When we are doing the division of algebraic fractions, just like we've done with fractions before, your process of division is quite simple and very much similar. You need to be able to remember the process begins with you keeping the first fraction as it is, flipping the second fraction, so we find the reciprocal of our second fraction. And for those of us who have a little trouble remembering what to do, switch numerator and denominator with each other. So you get, in this case, 4b squared over 3ab. And then finally, we'll change our sign to multiplication. Now that we have our expression altered, it's just a matter of being able to do what we've done with the multiplication of algebraic fractions. And we begin by comparing numerators and denominators to determine whether or not they have common factors, and we'll cancel these down. So here I can see a common factor of a. That's the only thing that's common between these two terms. I'm going to cancel that down. So in my numerator, I remain with 7a, and in this denominator, I remain with 3b. Let's take a look at the other two terms that we have, and we can clearly see that we have a common factor of 4 between these two terms. When we cancel down that common factor of 4, we remain with b squared in this numerator and 3 in this denominator. Now, one of the things that we can definitely take note of is that we can cancel down a common factor of b across here, as we have b squared and 3b. So let's cancel down a factor of b from these two terms, and this will give me b in my numerator and just simply 3 in my denominator. All that's left to do is find the products, and once we find the products of numerators and denominators, we're going to get our simplified expression. So 7a times b gives me 7ab, and 3 by 3 gives me 9. So my simplified expression is 7ab over 9. Now, the multiplication and division felt a lot easier simply because you did not have to go through the process of finding an LCM. You did not have too much need for things like distributive law like you did with addition and subtraction. When you have to do multiplication and division, it's most important for us to be able to identify common factors. So if you have trouble with identifying factors of numbers, you may definitely want to do a little recap of your multiples and factors. And where you are working with algebraic terms, definitely remember how to identify identical algebraic terms and how to identify the product of algebraic terms, as these will help you with figuring out whether or not you have common factors among algebraic expressions. So this is it for the simplification of algebraic expressions. Next, we're going to discuss how we do things like solve equations. Now that we know how to simplify all these different types of expressions, solving equations will just simply require us to understand how we solve equations and merge it with our knowledge of simplifying algebraic expressions.